Welcome to Cinephiles. Well, he who gets your heart beating faster was beyond the clouds, was 2 films old yet had the crazy fan following. With his latest movie, Dhara, completing a year, here's a quick conversation with none other than Ishaan Khatter. Since the times are evolving and content is the major thing that's driving the movies these days, so what according to you is good cinema?
Wow, it's a deep question. Well, I think it's important to give a lot of significance to the storytelling aspect of cinema first. And then the how do you tell the story. I think good cinema is telling a story in a way that it connects with more and more people, and it connects perhaps deeply or resonates deeply within. So that for me is good cinema. A good movie can be just a good time, it can just be something that's a great time off from your weekly routine. It can be just something that entertains you. But good cinema is something I feel that a film that would entertain you and engage you and at the same time resonate in a deeper way. So okay. I think, something you can learn from.
All right. So Janvi, in a recent interview, had said that she'd gotten an advice to not mistake the lifestyle of an actor with a job. And since that is the consequence of being an actor, so what, according to you, is the consequence of an actor?
The consequence of an actor and the consequence of being an actor, I believe would be two different things. The consequence of an actor would be the work that he does and how people react to it. But the consequence of being an actor is that there are a lot of other externalities, a lot of other obligations you have, especially in a country like ours where you become a public persona, a public figure. You have a lot of other obligations. You tend to also have a lot of responsibilities that perhaps you didn't intentionally take up, but a lot of people start looking up to you, and so that can at times be a responsibility. And so I think the consequences of being an actor are oftentimes not taken into account when people aspire to be an actor. I would say the same for me. I mean, for me it was more about, I want to be a part of films, I want to tell stories, but then as you get into it, you realize there's so much more to it. Being on set and performing and acting between action and cut is a smaller part of the larger, responsibility in the larger life that you then step into. So,
that was precisely my next question. What is it apart from the acting portion which you consider being a part of an actor, since acting is supposedly the smaller portion?
I mean, think about it. Like, you get up, you live your life as who you are. You're shooting a movie for a duration of, say, 2 months, 3 months, sometimes even up to a year. But all the rest of the time you're spending meeting with people, attending festivals like this, right. Addressing crowds at large, even promoting your film for that matter. Promotions are an other responsibility altogether. A lot of people don't take that into account. So you're constantly addressing a large group of people. It gives you that platform, and it gives you that privilege, I would say, to have your voice heard. And I guess that's also a choice. I mean, you choose how much you want to be out there, how much you don't. Sometimes the choice is not yours. Sometimes that luxury is taken away from you because everything is so accessible nowadays. Someone can just pull out a phone and record your personal time with your family, which is unfortunate. But these are the other things that come into play when you're a public figure. These are the things that you don't consider. Say you're raising a family. Right. I see this with my brother every day. Okay. He's trying to give his kids as normal a life as possible, and he's doing it incredibly in my understanding so far. But it's tough because there are certain things he'd want to protect them from,
Right.
you know, and so that's the larger part of being an actor, and those are the things that sometimes people don't take into account. Yeah.
Dhadak has recently completed a year.
Yeah, just
So
yesterday.
yes. So from the time you started, say, Beyond the Clouds, then Dhadak, and now that you're doing your other project, is there a process of learning the thing and unlearning whatever you've done so far?
I think it's both conscious and unconscious at times. I think somehow every film, provided you make the right choices, gives you that opportunity to unlearn what you've done before. If it's very different, if it's with a different team, if it's with a different production, if it's a different story altogether, a different character altogether. So I think that calls for, that warrants an unlearning.
Right.
But at the same time, there are certain principles like you keep with yourself all your life, Like there are some things that I've learned on both my first films that Beyond the Clouds and Dhadak respectively, that I would probably never forget. So yeah.
How much of it do you attribute to the skill that you have for the craft, and how much of it do you attribute to being from a film family?
How much?
It's the bad word of being nepotism.
I mean, it's bad if you give it a bad name. It's
Right.
perspective, I don't know. I really don't think that's a question I can answer. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and harp about myself being a skilled actor. I'm also not going to sit here and tell you that everything I've gotten is a privilege and I've done nothing to achieve it.
Right.
So, I mean, make of it what you will. I aspire to keep working as hard as I can, and I hope that that people draw their own conclusions from the work that I do.
Okay. Thank you so much.